because I just tried to give bank exams, nothing was in favor of me. I went for my prelims, my grandfather passed away, and I was going for the interview, Chennai Flits happened, so nothing was in favor of me. But one thing I was very sure is I have to bounce back. Whenever life puts you down, you should not say why me, instead you should say try me, because it gives some kind of motivation. And if you're taking up a task and if you are doing it, and if you're doing it on our own, so it is something really different, that it gives some sense of satisfaction.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Chamomile Tea with Toppers, an initiative by Unacademy, and I'm your host Rishabh. Today I have with me on the show Mr. Gopinath, who has cleared the SBI PO examination in 2019, and he's here to discuss a little bit about his journey, his preparation strategies for all you aspirants who will be attempting the examination in the near future. So let's meet Mr. Gopinath. Hi Gopinath, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. What about you?
Good. So tell us a little bit about yourself just to get started.
So basically, to start, I'm from Tamil Nadu. I belong to a beautiful village called as Metu Dam. So basically, I'm an electrical engineer.
Okay.
So people might think that students who are cracking bank exams are mostly from engineering background. So let me discuss about it later, how engineering helps you in banking exams. So before that, to start about my journey, how I have switched from engineering to banking. So it's it's really a very long and you can say a very tough journey. The reason is each one is having different backgrounds, they'll be having different experiences. But in case of mine, my one was also a bit different. So it's basically I'm a good student during my school and college. Okay, so that's where the thing started. I have analyzed that I'm very good in doing these calculations and those things. It was naturally coming well for me.
Okay.
So till 2018 things were going good. So I was also happy about the things which is taking place. But then there was a drastic change after 2018, you can say. So it's somewhere between the start of 2018. So colleges opted for campus placements. So I also got placed in one of the startup companies which is based in Bangalore. So then my college people recommended that if you are opting for internship, you can skip your 8th semester.
Okay.
I was finding it very interesting, and then I thought that okay, let me skip the 8th semester and let me go for the internship. So then I came to Bangalore and I was thinking, okay, this is my first work experience. Let me have some time over here. But then being a startup company, the work was really very hectic, you can say. So it was like a 24/7 into 365. I was working all around the clock. And then I was finding it very difficult. Then the real thing started to happen. So it was somewhere between the fag end of my college life. So I was here, I was not going to college. My 8th semester mostly I was spending in the Bangalore. So then that was the point. I was speaking with my some of my friends. Okay, particularly there is one person named Gokulnath who helped me a lot in preparing this banking exams. So when I was discussing with him, he was the one who suggested that there is something called as banking examinations. So it is about mainly focusing on quantitative aptitude. So we are having a good skill in aptitude, so you can crack the exams easily. I was not taking his words seriously in the beginning, but then I was having the work and the work was really very hectic. I don't know how to manage the work. So because of that, I have applied for resignation. So then I was speaking with him. Then we had some discussion about it, and I was finding my work very difficult, because being a startup, people were try to establish their names, so they were demanding so much of work from us. So my work was mostly related to the markets. Okay, basically I was working as a market intelligence over there, and my schedule was somewhere like this. From I'll go to the office by 8:30 or 9 in the morning, and I'll be coming to the office by 5:36 the next day. You could see that roughly 20 to 22 hours I'll be spending outside, and barely I used to sleep.
Yeah.
So I was finding it very difficult, and then I decided that okay, so I have to make a shift. I should look for some other opportunities which are prevailing over there, And to be honest, after completing my engineering, I don't even know what is SBI or like IBPS. I don't know any of the competitive exams. All I could know is like UPSC, and UPSC it's like a mountain. It's very hard to climb. So then I thought that okay, let me apply for resignation. I went to my manager and I spoke about resignation. He told that yeah, you can resign, but you have to serve for 3 months as notice period. I thought okay, 3 months. Let me like deal with it. And then what I have done. Then I started having some personal problems in my life. So it was a time that where I felt that some important persons in my life have left me in the middle. So I'm the only child of my parents. I was trying to discuss it with them, but I don't want to make them feel bad about my situations. So I decided to handle it all alone. And then I just went to a coaching institute and I asked for them and I enrolled myself in the same coaching institute. So then I decided that okay, how to manage between work and the studies from the institute. So then I decided okay, let me handle both of it, and like my schedule was somewhere like this. So by the time night 8:30 to morning 4:30 or even 5 to 6 in the morning, I'll be in the market. So from 9:30 a.m. in the morning to evening 6:30, I'll be in the institute. You could barely see that the time was between 1 or 2 hours in the middle. I was finding it very difficult. I was thinking why I have to struggle like this. Better I can settle for something less. But then I believed that no, we should not settle for something less. Whenever hardships comes, you have to bounce back. So that's what I have decided. And even then, in the initial days, things were going fine. But then, as I said earlier, I had many personal problems. It pulled me down totally. So this is where like my life was a sine wave in the upper territory. So and from July 2018 somewhere it started going in the negative territory, and I didn't expected that it will be going this much down. So it was a phase where I could still remember the day. Like I was going to the institute and I was coming and working, so the routine thing was going, and because of overnight work I was not able to sleep. I could still remember that day I was sleeping in the market. Okay, so because whatever the salary I have earned here, I have spent for most of my education from my institute. So I was barely having a place to live. So I was sleeping in the market in Bangalore. I could still remember the place. It was very hard for me, and I was finding it very difficult. But I had something in my mind. I should not skip my studies. I should go to the institute and I should start learning. And because of that, I was not able to sleep like for 2 to 3 days. Then I went to the institute, and the class had a strength of around, you can say 80 plus students. So like sometimes when I was working in the market, like from market I'll be directly going to the institute. So you could see that like because of rain, my shoes will be dirty, my clothes will be kind of dirty. So when I was going to the institute, I could still remember people will never come close to me. Like whenever I cross through the corridor, either they'll take the either way, and they'll just try to take a longest way possible. They will never come to me. And whenever I go and ask help to them, like they'll tell something and they'll make fun of me. They'll crack jokes. But then even it was not like hitting me big, because already I was in a very different phase. So these things were not hitting me bigger. So then I was just like dealing with it. And whenever I used to sit in front of the class in the first row or second row, what people used to do is like the bench can accommodate around 5 to 6 people. But the bench which I am sitting, people will never sit in the bench. They'll be sitting all over, but they'll never sit in the bench which I am sitting. So I am seeing this, I thought okay, it's fine, let me deal. And then so I don't want to disturb them. From that day I started sitting in the back of my bench, last bench. So as I said, because of that work, I was going to the institute directly from the market. So that day I was not able to listen to the class. I couldn't able to control my sleep. I have slept in the bench. So then the faculty saw me, and then he was asking about the students. Who is the last guy? Who is that guy sleeping in the last bench? Wake him up. So I was waking up, and I was not able to look because my eyes were totally drooping. I was full sleepy. I was not able to recognize. I was wiping my eyes and I was looking at him with like a bar opening of eyes. Then he started telling something to the student. Student, just look at him. You can look at his face. Failure is written all over his place. Okay, if you want to clear competitive exams, don't be like him. Okay, then I was like, who is this guy telling something? Okay, let him tell. Then he was telling many things. Okay, then he called me to the board and told that you just come to the board. I'll give you some. You just solve. There was a caselet DI question which is written over there. I was looking at the question. I was not able to solve the question. Then he started speaking to me something in Hindi, and basically I don't know Hindi. So I said, sir, I'm not able to get you what you are saying. So then he mocked me that, okay, so you don't know this one also, then tell me what else you know. You don't know anything, then why you have joined the banking exam? Then he started telling to his students that, see, don't be like this guy. These are the kind of people who will be coming to the institute for time pass. Okay, they'll waste their parents' money, and he was cracking many jokes in Hindi. Fortunately, I was not able to understand this joke, so I was fine with it. But then I was looking down, and I was looking at the people. The class was impact, full of, you can say it was packed class, 80 plus students, and there were some students in the NIST class sitting and practicing. And I was looking at them, I could still remember everyone was laughing at me. And that was a phase you can say everything was looking dark for me. I was not able to visualize what was going there. And from the board to my bench, that was the longest walk I have ever walked in my life. I was not able to go there. But then I decided, okay, so I should not stop here. I should take things serious, and I'll come back, and next time I'll be coming back harder. So I have decided. Then I just went to my manager and I told, okay, I'm not going to come to your office. Then he told, I'll stop your salary. You can stop your salary. It doesn't matter to me. So I quit my job. Then I started doing my homework. So then there was a holiday of 3 days. So those 3 days I was working harder. First day I was trying to do the sum, I was not able to do. Second day I tried, not able to do. Third day also I tried, I was not able to do. But then I was very clear that I should do the sums, I should do the questions in my very own way. For example, if a question is given, I should not search for solution, I should not stick to the concepts which my faculty has taught me. I should develop my own kind of skill, because whatever the question which I am solving here today, the same question will not be asked in the examination. The concept will be entirely different. So then I was trying harder. Then I could still remember it was Monday. I was going back to the institute. I was sitting in the same place, the last bench which I used to sit. Same faculty came. He was solving the sums, and I could still remember that day he taught around 7 to 8 problems. And for all the 7 to 8 problems, I was the first one to answer the questions. Okay, the thing is I have never taken pen, I have never taken pencil. Then students started to notice that how this guy can solve the sums, who is this guy, whether he is seeing the solution and telling the answer. Then people started to notice me. Then I was continuing the same. Whatever the method he is doing, I won't do in that method. I'll try to do it in my very own method, and I'll try to find the answer for the question. So then people started to look at me, they sat near me. They were voluntarily coming and speaking and asking doubts to me. So then what people have done, they went to the management and told that we are not interested in this faculty's class anymore. We want this person as our quantitative aptitude faculty. So that's when things changed. Management has asked me to take classes for them. And yes, I was appointed as the a faculty for the same students who laughed at me. But then I thought, okay, this is not real success. My success should be somewhere, it should be very positive. So then I decided, okay, so people have laughed at me, it's fine. I'll give them back success. So what I can do is I have decided I have to make them clear competitive exam, and by making them clear, I should also clear competitive exam. And I'm telling you, out of the 80 people right now, I could still remember 67 to 68 people are working in various organizations. Okay, and they could daily message me that Gopi sir, we are very thankful to you. Okay, you are the one who stored the ship, showed the path, many things they used to say. So basically from that was the fire, that was the ignition which I had towards my banking preparation.
जिस दिन मेरा सिलेक्शन हुआ, मुझे याद है मेरी आंखों में आंसू थे। एक के बाद एक जब मेरे एग्जाम क्लियर होते गए, मुझे एहसास हुआ कि ये एक स्मार्ट प्रिपरेशन का खेल है। मेरे 6 साल के टीचिंग एक्सपीरियंस से मैं ये कॉन्फिडेंटली कह सकता हूँ कि मेरे कोर्सेज से आप जनरल अवेयरनेस में 90% तक स्कोर कर सकते हैं। मैं हूँ कपिल काटपाल। सब्सक्राइब टू अनअकैडमी प्लस।
Absolutely, and it's been a remarkable journey, like you just mentioned. Despite all the professional commitments and the personal commitments that you had, you were able to come on top and come out as a champion. So, and this was the very first attempt that you cleared this examination in. So, tell me what it took to clear that exam in the very first attempt.
Yeah. So the first attempt, it was like it was very normal to me actually. I was not taking it as a very big deal because whenever we are having the pressure, we cannot be able to deliver it properly. So then I decided, I started taking class for my students. Along with that, I was preparing for my examinations also. So I thought that okay, my life is fine now. There is no more obstacles. But then you can see that again started the obstacles. So I was giving my IBPS examinations in November 2018. So that was my first ever banking examination. So without any knowledge, I have not taken any mock examinations, but I have cleared the examination. So yeah, IBPS PO was my first attempt in banking examination. So I didn't had any real-time experience about it. So I just went and sit in the examination and I have cleared my prelims. I don't know how I have cleared. So, but the one thing is like I was very good in my basics, so it helped me to clear the prelims. So then I thought that let me not sit for mains examination, because mains is something that you cannot clear by luck or you cannot clear by fluke. It was totally a different game. So then I decided not to do. So the second phase of 2018, I was spending most of it to my students. So it was time in January 2019, and that's where my real preparation started. So some of my co-faculties told, by April, SBI PO notification will be released, and by June or July you will be having the examination. And he told me that all the public sector banks will be coming under one umbrella called as IBPS. And then he told that there is one RBI and there is only one state bank. So it impressed me a lot. Then I understood the value and the meaning of State Bank of India. It's a very big brand. So I just wanted to be the part of that organization. So then from January and February, I started focusing on most of my basics. The next 2 months, I was focusing on my moderate level skills. And the final 2 months, I focused on my high level skills. Then I was like, during my month of May 2019, I was like in a red hot form. Whatever the exam comes, like in mock exams, I was topping the examinations. I was very confident that, okay, whatever exam comes, I'll definitely clear. I was having that confidence. But then May 31, 2019, so previously the call letter has been released and my exam was on June 8, June 8, 2019. So May 31, 2019, I was getting a call from my family that your grandfather is no more. So then I was again the feedback loop from the hill. It came back again to me. Everything was looking dark because I was very close to my grandfather. So then I thought, okay, so whatever preparation I have done for the past 6 months, it's going to be over. I went back to my hometown. I went back to the home. So the scenario was totally different because if you are losing someone close to your family, you cannot be the same anymore. So then I thought, okay, so I decided let's not give the exam right now because my family needs moral support. I should be with them. So June 8 came. So we were busy with some rituals which were happening in the family. My father was having a reminder in his phone that June 8, Gopi's exam. So then he came to me and told, so today is your examination. You were told something, SBA something, you have to go and give the examination. I told how I can go and give. I have not practiced for the past 10 days. So how I can go and give the examination. But then he told me one thing that, see, knowledge is something not you have gained for the past 1 day or like 1 week or something. You have worked your heart and soul for the past 6 months. You just believe in it, believe your intuition, and then just go and give your exam. Let the result be of any manner. Okay, be it positive or negative, it doesn't matter. It's totally fine. So then I decided to go to the examination, and people who came to the examination that day, it was like a normal exam for them. But for me, it was very different. I was totally not in a mood to go to the exam. But then I went. So the exam started. First section was English, I guess. So yeah, English section was the first section. 30 questions were there, and I was about to attend 28 questions. So the second one was quantitative aptitude, and I don't know how fate goes with my life. DI question was there. I just skipped the DI questions and I planned to give it in the last. Then there was a profit and loss question, and it was written, Mr. Srinivasan, a fruit seller, has done so and so. And Mr. Srinivasan was my grandfather's name. I don't know to call it luck or unluck, I don't know. By seeing that thing, I was totally down. Entire thing came to my mind because when he passed away, I was not able to stay with him. So for the first 1 or 2 minutes, I was totally blank. I don't know where I'm sitting, what is happening over there. Then I was trying to regain my composure. Because while going to my examination, my father has told, if you clear your examination, your grandfather will be the most happiest person. So just go and give. Then I thought, okay, I have to do something for him. So then I decided, I gained my composure back. And once the clock was over, my attempt in quantitative aptitude was 35 out of 35.
Oh, great.
And then the reasoning section started. I was not in a mood to give it again. But then I thought, okay, I have tried so hard. I was thinking that your failures will be counted only if you become success. So I have to succeed. I have to succeed. Everything was coming in front of my eyes. You can say the person who laughed at me, the students who mocked at me, like all the failures, the mountains which I have climbed. I don't want to waste it in a very like silly way. So then I have given, and again in reasoning my attempt was 35 out of 35. And while coming out of the examination hall, I was very clear that I will definitely clear the exam. So then result came. So prelims I have cleared it easily. So then mains. So mains, you can say it was like more about the concepts. It was more about the idea which you have developed about your banking examination.
So Gopinath, it's been a wonderfully inspiring journey, and I'm sure the people who are watching this are definitely taking note of all the things that you have said so far. So tell me a little bit about how you managed your schedule during this entire time. Your daily schedule. What did that look like?
So basically, my schedule was not like a normal aspirant, because like I was not only focusing on this examination. My schedule was totally different actually, because like I was taking classes. So by taking classes, I prepared along with it. So I didn't subscribe to any series or courses. So whatever the doubts which my students are asking to me, I just solved it alone. So it was helping me with the preparation. So my schedule is like, but one thing I have made sure that I wanted it to be a regular habit. I just don't want to take breaks in the middle, studying one day and taking break the next day. I just don't want to be. I just wanted to be a continuous practice. So that's what I followed actually.
Right, absolutely. And it is through this schedule that you were eventually able to land a job as a probationary officer with SBI. So tell me how your life has changed after joining SBI.
So it's like it's been totally a roller coaster thing, because like before I joined SBI, like I was nowhere in the picture, but after becoming SBI a PO, so people like who left me, they started coming back to me again. So they were asking, oh, you have done a good thing, this, that. So yeah, it's been a very good journey actually. Things are going good right now. So I'm finding it pretty good.
That's great. And talk me through, the role that your family has played in your preparation and your friends, because they are a key source of inspiration, and they are people who are always motivating you all during the times of, when things are down and, you're demotivated. So tell me a little bit about that.
To be honest, my family played a major role. My father and mother, they were the moral support of mine. So they stood with me through the thick and thin. So they were very supportive. And usually if you are going and telling your parents that I am doing a job and I am going to resign, no one will appreciate.
Right.
But my parents told that, okay, so fine, it's totally fine. You just do whatever you love to do, and whichever you feels good, you just do it. So in that case, my parents were really supportive. So that's what give me the fuel that, okay, so whatever I want in my life, I can decide it on my own, and I can do it in a very good way. The confidence which they have had on me, it was like giving me some sense of satisfaction that, yeah, whatever I take, I can do it in a better way.
Right.
So yeah, that's what about the role which they have played in my life.
Yeah, that's great to know. And with respect to the prelims exam specifically, of course, it's divided into different subjects. So I want to take it subject wise now. So if you could firstly talk me through your strategy for English, and what are some of the material that you referred to while preparing for it?
Yeah, so regarding English, personally, I didn't follow any material or courses, and I don't have the habit of reading newspapers too. But to the aspirants out there, if you have to take the strategy for English, so what you can do is people say that reading newspaper is a good thing. Yeah, obviously you can follow that. It will definitely improve your vocabulary skills. So apart from your English, what they can do is reading newspaper. That's one thing. and you just have to develop a habit of grasping. How you can develop a habit of grasping is like by reading only.
Right.
Okay, it's not that you have to read something related to business. It's not that something you have to relate something to bank. You can read whatever the topic you like, but make sure whatever you're reading, you're just trying to understand what is given in the passage. Because we all know that reading comprehension is one of the major topic which is happening asked in English examination. So my suggestion to the students out there is try to have a good reading skill and try to grasp whatever is given in the passage. That will definitely help you out.
Right, definitely. So that's a little bit about English. And what about the quant section? How did you prepare for that?
Actually, quantitative aptitude section is one of my favorite section. So like it's like for example, if I start solving a sum, and if it is a difficult sum, and if I get the answer for that sum, it gives me some sense of satisfaction. It gives me some kind of high. I'll be feeling very happy that day. Okay, so that's what it motivated me. Whenever I'm seeing a difficult question and I'm trying to answer, it was giving me some sense of motivation that okay, so I can solve the things easily, solve the things quickly. And coming to the strategy for quantitative aptitude. So what you have to do is like you should start things. You should make things very simple. For example, people will start their preparation and then suddenly they'll go for time and work, time and distance, and the simple interest, compound interest. You should not do that. Why I'm saying is like there is a proper way to go. First of all, you should start with your basic things like aptitude. You can say percentage and the ratio, proportion, average. These are your basic topics. You should try to cover it first. Then only you have to go for your next video. Next topics. And one thing is like don't immediately go for higher level sums because it will definitely bring you down. It will like downlift your motivation. So what you can do is like you can start with your basic level questions, then you can go for moderate questions, then you can go for higher level questions. And quantitative aptitude section is a little trickier section, but you have to start loving it. If you love something, definitely you will do the things good. So start loving quantitative aptitude section, and then it will be forever yours.
Right. And what were some of the sources you referred to while preparing for quants?
Yeah, so quantitative aptitude section, the sources, I just followed the YouTube videos for covering out my basics. There is a YouTube channel which I prefer, which is called as Feel Free to Learn. So if you go to the channel, you can see that the topics will be mentioned in a very easy way from basics. And apart from that, when I get time for solving higher level sums, I watched Unacademy videos, I watched Oliveboard videos. Those were really helpful actually. So you can see, you can find n number of sources from YouTube. So it was playing a major role actually.
Right. And what about the reasoning section? Because that is where a lot of aspirants get stuck at because of the puzzles and stuff like that. So what is your advice on that?
So actually, like puzzles, it was a nightmare for me initially. So I could still remember, I thought that my colleagues and co-faculties told that if you have to clear your reasoning section, you have to be very good in your seating arrangement puzzle. I thought, okay, I'll start doing a seating arrangement puzzle. I started. First puzzle I tried, I was not able to solve. Second one I tried, not able to solve. It was continuing, 5 to 6, it was continuing, it was keep on mounting. I was not able to get how to clear puzzles. So then I decided that okay, I should not go for higher level puzzle. I should start with the very basic one. For example, there is a table, 4 persons are sitting, facing inside, facing outside. Those basic level puzzle I started, and then I just like moved to moderate one, and then further higher ones. But I have made sure that I was solving one seating arrangement and one puzzle throughout my entire course of practice. So that thing I am just suggesting you. What you can do is like daily one seating arrangement or one puzzle or both of them you can solve daily. Definitely that will help you to improve your logical reasoning skills.
Right, getting your basics right at the end of the day is the key to cracking this particular section. So prior to this, during your preparation, how many mocks did you write?
During my initial days of my preparation, I have not even attended a single mock. First of all, I don't even know what is mock exams. People used to say that mock exam, you have to do this, do that. I don't know what is mock exam, like how it goes, I don't know. But then some of my students have told me that, sir, this is called as mock exams. Many websites are there. You have to give your exams over there so that only you can get equipped with the real life exam scenario. Then I enrolled in some website. Then I started giving mocks. And it was during May 2019. So that 1 month, I can say I have roughly given around 100 to 120 prelims mocks. Each day I'll be giving 2 to 3 marks, 4 marks. That was my routine. Like a sleep, wake up, eat, and then mocks. That was I used to follow during my prelims.
Right, absolutely. And it was through this dedication that you finally were able to crack the prelims exam. So congrats on that. And post that now was of course the main journey, which was of course the main exam, in which there is now another section that comes into the picture, which is of course the general awareness section. So tell me a little bit about how you tackled this section and when did you start preparing? Was it during your prelims or a little later?
So I didn't had any idea about general awareness section actually. I thought that they'll be asking very basic questions like who will be the chief minister of so and so state, who will be the prime minister. I was expecting those kind of questions. But then when I was like looking at the questions in the website, there were so much of things. Okay, who signed this deal? What was the MOU which has been signed between India and Sri Lanka? I was finding it very difficult. Then I thought, okay, already I am in the middle of my prelims stage. I cannot go back and cram up the entire things. So what I have done, once my prelims was done, I was very sure that I'll clear the prelims. I started my journey for mains. So I was having roughly 40 days. So in that 40 days, I thought let me go for one mains mock test and then general awareness side by side. The first mains mock test which I have given, I scored minus 3.75. So the total like mark was around 250 and my score was minus 3.75 to be precise. I thought, okay, my story is over, so it's going to end. Then I thought that, okay, so the real exam will not be this much tough, or whatever happens, let me see. First, I will try to cover the general awareness. So in this 40 days, I spent only studying current affairs. So and that is about my personal preparation towards current affairs. But my suggestion is like students don't do that this thing actually. Whenever you are starting your preparation, you start your current affairs side by side. If not, try to like study at least weekly once, because nowadays I can see that the prelims is happening on January 1 and mains is immediately taking place by January 20. So within the 20 days you cannot do anything. So whenever you are starting your preparation, just at least give it a read. Okay, there are many PDFs available in the websites. You just try to read from there. So just start your current affairs section during your initial days itself.
Yes. Right, and it would be great if you could also tell the aspirants about the sources that you refer to for the general awareness section.
Like the sources which I referred for general awareness is like only one source I referred, that is Affairs Cloud. So you can see in Affairs Cloud the news has been given in a very elaborate way. First of all, you should know how the content goes, because I could see that they are not asking examination questions like a direct question. Okay, it was like somewhere revolving between the concept. So you have to know the news first, not in depth, but you should know what is happening in the news. So if you have to get the content, then Affairs Cloud is really good. So I have studied around 4 to 6 months current affairs prior to my mains examination from Affairs Cloud.
Right. And any newspapers that you refer to particularly?
No, newspaper I have not referred particularly. Just a week before my interview, I have started reading newspaper.
Now the other 3 sections which you had written in the prelims exam as well, which are also part of the mains exam, which is the reasoning, English and quants. How different was that compared to the prelims, the preparation wise?
So preparation wise, if I like break it into pieces, so prelims and mains, both is of having the same concept. Right. Okay, for example, if you are applying some certain formula for speed and time in prelims, the same will be applicable to the mains also. Right. But what students are getting to understand is like mains is a very difficult exam. I cannot clear. Even I used to think in the same way. But
it's
then,
just a mindset in the mind. Yes.
But then once going and seeing the exam, I could clearly elaborate that in prelims there is only one basic question. But whereas in mains, 3 to 4 basic questions clubbed and given as a single question. So if your basics is good, you can definitely get through the question which is given in the examination. And in case of your mains, the difficulty level will be a bit higher. Right. So you should have in-depth knowledge about how the concept goes.
Right. Understanding the concept ultimately is the key, right? And of course, there is also the descriptive section that is part of the mains examination, which includes the English essay as well as the letter writing part. Yes. So how did you prepare for this particular section?
So I didn't prepare for any descriptive or something, but I was going through the websites and I'm just trying to make note of the font, how the paragraph should be written, the body, the conclusion, what are the things to be addressed. So I was just following it, you can say the body of the paragraph. So based on that, then ideas, it will be we can write whatever we want. There is no predefined ideas. I could still remember the descriptive thing which I have attended during my mains was it's about financial inclusion. Right. So financial inclusion is nothing but offering banking services to unbanked people. So that was the basic agenda. So then you have to mix some masala, you have to write with the proper grammar, then your descriptive is done.
Right, absolutely. Okay. And how many marks were you able to score in your mains examination finally?
I could not remember the exact mark, but it was somewhere between 130 something. It was around 130 out of 250.
Okay, that's great. So you cleared the prelims, you cleared the mains, and now let's move to the interview section, which is of course another very important aspect of this whole journey. So prior to when your interview was about to happen, what was your mindset and how did you prepare for that? Did you take the help of some videos or did you discuss with your friends, family about how to go about this? What was your strategy for that?
So actually, I was having a very different perspective about interview, and before that, the phase started in a very you can say negative way. Once the main result was declared, I was looking for my number in the PDF. My number was not there.
Right.
So I thought that okay, I have not cleared the mains. Again, I was telling myself, life is a lie. So nothing is going to work. I am finished. But then I was having something. My intuition said that no, Gopi, you might have cleared. You have to check it. You have to check once more. I tried my number again and again. My number was not there. But then my students were really very confident that no, sir, you might have definitely cleared. You just give your registration number. Okay, then I thought I was checking with my roll number. But then they told like you have to check with your registration number, and I have checked my registration number and my result was there. And that from that day I started for my interview. It was barely around 20 days for my interview. So what I used to do those 20 days is like I'll be taking the newspaper, reading the headlines. So what was the current news which is happening? So then I was discussing with some of my seniors, okay, what will be the questions which will be asked in the interview. They used to tell that for me they were asking technical questions. Some person used to tell they were asking very basic question. It was like a mixed ideas. So then I thought that okay, so I am the one who is going to give the interview. So whatever they are going to ask, it is about me, and it is the things which is revolving around me. So then I thought that I focused on myself. I prepared my bio, where I did my schooling, those stuffs I have just prepared. And one thing which I was making my mind very clear is whatever you're telling in the interview, you have to be very precise. You should not do any kind of drama over there. If you know the answer, you should know, yes, I know this is the answer. But if you're not knowing the answer, you should tell, sorry sir, I am not able to recollect at this point of time. They're not going to tell why you don't remember. They're not going to ask that. So you have to be very confident, and you should have a good tone. You should not be rude over there. You should have a proper tone and be confident in yourself.
Absolutely.
Okay, just express yourself, because it's just a normal interview. It is not going to be a life. If you're failing an interview, that doesn't mean it's the end of the world. Be confident, just have a calm attitude over there, then you can easily get through.
Right. So if I were to summarize, confidence is something that's really important, yes. Being calm, and also at the same time having some basic knowledge of everything that you have been a part of so far in your life, right? So now with respect to the interview, on the day of the interview, when you went to give your interview, what were some of the questions that were asked to you?
So actually my question was, the first question was, it was about the Chennai floods.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was everything was interlinked. So I was staying in the flat over there. It was Chennai was fully flooded. My interview was in Chennai actually. So I was coming down due to my anxiety. I was thinking, okay, tomorrow is a big day. If I clear, I'll become something. If I don't clear, I was having that anxiety which everyone used to have.
Yeah.
I didn't sleep the whole day. I was having a fear. Okay, so my slot was on 8:30. So I am the one who is going to attend the interview at first. So I was very nervous. So then I was coming down from the flat and it was fully flooded. And I was not able to walk, and I was getting wet, and I was going through the interview. By looking that actually people asked me what happened, I told flood, so I was not able to come. Then after that, the same person who is interacting with me, he is the person who is heading the GD.
Okay.
So actually in SBI PO, GD will be happening first, which is of 20 marks.
Right.
And group discussion is something that, to be very honest, I was feeling very nervous that day. Okay, usually when giving interview or speaking with people, I usually don't feel in that way, but I don't know, I was having too much of pressure that day. So I was sitting in the interview, I was very calm, and group discussion started. So it was around 12 people were sitting.
Right.
My topic in GD was, is opposition needed in a democracy? I don't know anything about that topic. So I was scratching my head and I was thinking, okay, so I don't know anything about the topic. So let me see how thing goes. So then people started to speak. Some 4 to 5 people started to tell some ideas. Then I thought, okay, so this is about the democracy. I just take the lead from there. Then I just watched what people are speaking around. Then I was very confident that okay, so almost everyone is sailing in the same boat. So let me join. Then I started speaking. I can still remember that I spoke around only 3 to 4 points, but I was very elaborate, very precise. And one thing which I made sure is like I was maintaining eye contact with everyone in the room.
Right, that's very important.
Okay, I was maintaining eye contact with everyone, and I was very precise to the point, and I was not making it as a debate because it's a discussion, it's not a debate.
Right.
So I was very like sure about the basic things, so which that helped me to ace through group discussion.
Right. And what about the interview? What were the questions that were asked? Apart from the Chennai floods, of course, that you mentioned.
Yes.
Apart from that, what were some of the questions that were asked?
Yeah. So actually, the person who is handling the GD, the person who is handling the GD, he'll be passing the comments to the real interviewer.
Right.
So then you'll be going to the interview section. My interview session lasted for, you can say, only 6 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, for rest of the people, it lasted around 40 minutes, someone 20 minutes. The reason is like my GD was very good. I think I was the topper in my GD.
Right.
So I scored 19 out of 20 in my GD. So they have witnessed me in GD what was the kind of communicative skills I'm having.
Right.
So it was like a cakewalk for me in the interview actually. I was very nervous. They'll be asking many things. They'll be asking CRR, inflation, this thing, that thing. But then I thought I have decided whatever they ask, I should say I don't know. So I just went. And then they asked, I could see your clothes were wet. I told, yeah, it was because of floods, I was getting wet. Then they asked basic things about my schooling. Then your marks were good, why banking?
Right.
Then I told that, I just told them the honest way, that after my engineering, I don't know what to do. My parents have asked me to go for something. So I have chosen banking.
Right.
So I just, whatever I felt, I just told them honestly. And apart from them, they asked one current affair question. It is about there was a drone attack which happened in Saudi Arabia. So they asked about that, and I misunderstood the question actually. I thought they were asking about a drone. I started explaining about a drone is an aircraft, this thing, that thing. I explained. Then they told, no, I am not asking about drone. It's about the attack in Saudi Arabia. The good thing is like I was reading about the news in the newspaper. It was the hot topic at that time.
Yes, yes.
So I was able to tell them, and they were very convinced about this thing. And yeah, then interview was over.
So ultimately, your group discussion itself provided that platform to you for your interview, which eventually became successful, right? So you told us a little bit about your prelims, your mains, and your interview. Now, if I were to ask you to summarize this entire portion and tell me like what are the 3 must-dos and 3 mistakes that aspirants should avoid, what would you say after that?
So regarding 3 must-dos, I could say that be consistent with your preparation. That was the first thing. And like you just try to know what is your strength topics, okay, and just like strengthen it even more. So first one is like be consistent with your preparation, and be self-motivated, because that is the thing which aspirants needs more. Like don't try to like bog down by looking at the mock test or something. Like have the confidence. And third thing is like just believe in yourself. Okay, like whatever I'm saying, this is about me. This is about my strategy. Person B can say some other strategy. Person C can say another one. But it's about how they went through the examination. And it's about you, how you are going to ace the examination. So believe in yourself, and you just try to follow the strategy which you have adapted for yourself. So that was about the 3 do's. And 3 don'ts is like, again, it's around the same point. It's like don't try to follow different strategy by looking at some certain strategy video, following that strategy for 1 week, next week shifting to some other strategy. Don't do that. Just have a clear plan, start the basic, how we are going to move further. So that will definitely help you. And another thing is like just don't take breaks. Because like there are some persons, I could know that they'll be studying for 5 to 10 hours a day. Next day they'll take break. Again they'll come back. The rhythm should be there. So to be honest, like right now I'm working in a bank. So if you are asking me to go and solve the aptitude question, who knows, I might get 0 also. Okay, quantitative aptitude was my strength topic, but there are high chances I can score in a negative mark also. So the rhythm matters actually. You should be in a rhythm. So it's not about studying 5 hours, next day 1 hour. It's not like that. Study 1 hour a day. Make sure that 1 hour continues throughout your journey. So the rhythm is that that matters.
Right, absolutely. Okay. So that was a little bit about the three do's and don'ts aspirants. I hope you'll have taken note. It's very important to have the right consistency, confidence, and belief in yourself in order to crack this examination. Right, Gopinath. So we've discussed everything with respect to your preparation and your strategies. So now let's get into a fun segment which we call the rapid fire round here on CTWT, wherein I'll ask you a few questions and you can answer them really quickly, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, Gopinath, your first question is, what is that one thing that you are yet to tick off from your bucket list, something that you still are yet to achieve or something that you want to do?
I just planned to go to Leh and Ladakh through my Himalayan bike. So it was not yet happened. It was yet to happen.
Okay, so that's something you're looking forward
Yes.
to doing. Great. Okay. If you were to become the Prime Minister of the country today, what is that one change that you would like to bring in our country?
Regarding the question, I could say that the Prime Minister should be qualified for the post. And the thing is like India is a multilingualistic country. That's the beauty of India. And the beauty is like unity in diversity. There should be unity. Okay. I would make sure that there is peace and harmony prevails in the country. That's what most important for me.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, what is that one movie that you're really inspired by and something that you can watch again and again?
So I watched that movie recently. It's of South Indian actor Surya. The name is Surarai Potru.
Okay.
So it was a really motivating story.
Okay, great. Describe yourself in 3 words.
So to describe in 3 words, I'm a self-motivated guy, and I believe in hard work because I believe only luck favors the hard work. And third thing is I'm an energetic guy. I never get down easily.
Fantastic. Okay. If of course you have your phone with you, and if I were to delete all the applications from that phone and you could just keep 3 of them, what would those 3 apps be?
WhatsApp, Instagram, and then you can say my contacts.
Okay. Right, Gopinath, we're at the end of the show. We here at CTWT would definitely like to give you something as a token of our appreciation for being here. So, thank you very much for being with us here on this journey.
Thanks for
Right. Right. All right, Gopinath, that was a fantastic rapid fire round, and it's been a great journey for you so far. Tell me a little bit about what are some of your future plans. What do you plan to do in the next 5 years?
But in a very good way. So definitely, if I do that, it'll lead me somewhere higher. So that's what I'm believing actually.
Right, that's great. And we wish you the very best from our side here at Unacademy in your journey going forward. We have this ritual here at Unacademy wherein, which we call Tag a Topper, wherein you can mention someone's name and we can invite them on the show on the next episode. So if there's anyone that you have in mind, you can tell us.
So topper, I just want to tell one person actually. So just a small intro. So that person, she is from Assam actually. She is one of my students.
Okay.
So she doesn't even know maths. She skipped her 3rd standard, 4th, 5th and 6th due to the her family condition. So she is one of the student who have taken as a inspiration, you can say, because when she was giving her mock exam, every mock exam was in a negative territory. So she believed in me, she believed in my guidance, and I guided her. Right now she is working in Punjab National Bank. So if I have to tag a topper, then definitely she is the one. Her name is Manoshi Sinha.
Manoshi Sinha, right. All right, Manoshi, our team will reach out to you very soon, and hopefully we will see you here and sharing your journey and your experiences with respect to this examination. Right, Gopinath. So before I let you go, we're almost at the end of this episode. I'd definitely like you to share one piece of advice for all our aspirants who are going to attempt this examination.
So to the students out there, I guess you might have heard my story. So you might have heard many stories, but you can, if possible, you can take myself an example. Because I just tried to give bank exams, nothing was in favor of me. I went for my prelims, my grandfather passed away, and I was going for the interview, Chennai Floods happened. So nothing was in favor of me. But one thing I was very sure is I have to bounce back. Whenever life puts you down, you should not say why me. Instead, you should say try me. Because it gives some kind of motivation, and if you are taking up a task and if you are doing it, and if you are doing it on your own, so it is something really different that it gives some sense of satisfaction. So you just believe in yourself, and you can look at n number of videos, n number of strategy videos, just try to take some glimpses from it. because like I always believe that there can be one Gopinath and there can be only one you who are watching this video. So just try to have a unique strategy of your own, like which will definitely help you in clearing banking examinations. So just be persistent with your efforts, believe in yourself, and be confident about your preparation. Definitely, if you do that, who knows, like next time you might sit here and give the interview.
Right. Thanks, Gopinath, for such a wonderful message, and I hope it really does help the aspirants in their journey. Right, Gopinath. So with that, we come to the end of the show. Your last thoughts of being with us on CTWT?
To be honest, I really love the work which CTWT is doing. So even after clearing the examination, by looking at the strategy of the toppers, now I'm feeling motivated that I should give some more examination. So it's been really a great initiative by Unacademy. If people are looking at this initiative, definitely they'll be pumped up to give the examinations. So it's been a great work, and I really thanks Unacademy for doing this initiative.
Right. Thanks, Gopinath. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
So that was Gopinath, everyone, who shared a little bit about his journey and his experiences, his preparation strategies for this particular examination, and it was truly an inspiring journey. And you know, life's going to throw a lot of challenges at you, and instead of saying why me, always say try me, like Gopinath just mentioned. Thank you for tuning in for this episode of Chamomile Tea with Toppers. We will definitely be back with some more episodes soon. Until then, do take very good care of yourselves and stay safe.